together a motion that would establish the energy conservation revolving account, and run it by the moderator, see if he's willing to accept it before town meeting one night. If he's willing to accept it, we just pass it as that, it wouldn't limit us to just the revenue from our RMLD.
Right.
And we establish it and then go chase the funding afterwards. I mean, it isn't anybody's intent at this point to spend taxpayers' money on this yet.
Right.
If we have a source such as RMLD, it's just gonna take a while for that funding to get to it.
Right,
So I think if we can do it, if
So-
not, we'll pass it over.
So, can you do that?
We'll take a look at it.
Okay.
From my perspective, there are two requirements for revolving fund. Number one, you have to identify a source of funds. And number two, you have to identify a specific dollar amount. And failing either of those two things, it doesn't meet the definition of a revolving account. So we just say we're gonna create a fund and we don't have a funding source and we don't know what the dollar amount is, my guess is that it's probably not gonna pass muster.
Haven't we done that before, though? Haven't we set up funds without any
Not a revolving account.
revolving?
We may have
account?
set up funds, we may have set up
Well, I
stabilization
meant
funds.
revolving accounts. I mean, I thought I recall us
Well,
doing
the
that.
DOR was,
Not awesome, when I was on the board, but. I'm
so what
talking
you're saying is that the DOR was recommending a stabilization fund. This language doesn't cover it, so pass over it and deal with it in October.
Yeah, I think that's the
There's
best
not
thing to
I
do.
mean, if rebates come in and we keep a tally of it, we just, in October, you say those rebates, which are now in free cash, hopefully, there's free cash, will be applied to energy conservation. Period.
Is John and Dick aware of this? Right?
Yes and yes.
Recall seeing anything on it?
I would also suggest on that we accept the rebates rather than taking it off the bill, so that if it does get established in October, we establish it and we'll have some rebate money identified to put in it immediately. That way we won't forget about it and get thrown into the mix for the next fiscal year.
Mhm.
Pass over.
All right, I'm gonna pass over. On the operating budget, I have begun putting a budget presentation together, which is tied in with the work of the Financial Advisory Committee associated with funding. Obviously, we're still waiting for information. However, I may or may not be here come June.
Whoa. Well,
So
can,
this is what I
we
would,
still can have you do it.
It's got a good point, Bob.
but since Sean is the current vice chair and is involved in the financial planning team, I will continue working on the presentation. He'll be up to speed on it, and if I'm not here, then you can ask him to do the presentation. In other words, I think it would be a presentation, take leave of the meeting, go through everything, and then hopefully get the omnibus article passed, as we've done in the past.
You catch it.
So that's some incentive for you to support me. Capital,
The
capital
There's a
plan-
little bit of sport involved in watching the.
capital plan, who wants to
Your
do that?
presentation by
Obviously,
Scott.
we've got some decisions to make on that before town meeting. Capital plan, Sean or Steve?
What's that?
Capital plan, Article 20.
Oh, you wanna talk about that now?
Who's gonna do it?
No,
Well, I thought we were gonna do this.
no, we're talking about who's gonna present it.
Present it.
I don't do 19,
But
I'll
that
do
won't be till
20.
June.
Oh, why don't we,
You wanna wait?
why don't we wait and build that out and
All right.
find out what we have?
Okay, fine.
Yeah, we all shake out.
Because we want to be able to have you
See
put
who's
your
left
name on there.
We're gonna see who's left standing here.
We may have to adjust all that.
You may have to adjust it, right?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
you may want to consider who's gonna be the spokesperson under 22 and 23 if they're brought forward, because it's always the possibility. It's always a possibility.
Well, in terms, I think it's difficult for even any of us to say whether or not we're in support of this feasibility study until we get some more information
No,
from
I'm
the-
not talking about.
22 and 23.
22
Oh, I'm sorry.
23.
I think we should wait until, I believe the Finance Committee wishes to come in at some point to make a presentation to us, so maybe we should wait until that takes
Well, I
place.
think what you're saying is someone may at town meeting want to
Yep.
bring that forward out of order,
Oh,
rather than adjourning after 18, consider Articles 22 and 23.
Yeah, I thought we we had moved it out here so that we had the opportunity to collect all the information. We haven't even taken a position on it at this point.
No, and the only way that it could not be voted on is if the Finance Committee does not have a recommendation.
well, maybe
So my suggestion is,
someone should have.
Finance Committee not to complete their deliberations and stand up at town meeting, we do not already have a recommendation, therefore it can't be considered
Excellent,
Interesting.
out of the bylaws.
very good idea.
That answer your question, Greg?
Excellent. Thank you,
So you might
Selectman
wanna-
O'Leary.
Dodge
yeah,
that
might wanna confer with the
Oh,
chair of the Finance Committee.
Just, just do a broad brush through these articles. Obviously, 21, we don't even know if, this could get passed over depending on where the state is, and,
Right.
or they may want to move it up.
I don't think that's a
I don't- no,
possibility.
I don't think
The-
so
the
either
first-
anymore.
They convened a first meeting, or the
Right.
reconstituted secondary school building
Right.
committee this evening, that's where it came from. And is it, I think we'll have a joint
Yeah,
meeting.
it's probably not, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it'll come up. next
And we
month.
just talked about the insurance funding and retirement obligations. This is for, do we have a list yet
Not at this time.
from the school? They don't have,
It's possible, I don't have it.
it wasn't discussed at the last meeting?
No.
Snow and ice?
It should be snow, ice, and water.
Yeah. It's all
Retirement fund,
It's all the same.
Same cost associated.
wastewater, these are things that we'll be talking about between now and energy conservation projects. At least, they've kind of laid out what that is already. Transfer to capital stabilization fund. And then transfer to solid waste, and appropriate money for stabilization. Those are all articles that may or may not happen.
Yeah, this could have been a one-night town meeting, huh?
Should be.
That
I
piece
know.
of it, yeah.
That.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of articles. There's
No,
nothing
we're not
on
doing many
bylaws or
articles.
anything, nothing's
it's
being done
October.
by CPC. I know, but I mean, there wasn't anything back then either, of any substance.
I don't think these two are gonna be a problem if we did it all at once.
Okay. Let's go around, Mr. O'Leary.
The only thing I'm sure the chair is going to elaborate on it, just the passing of our assessor.
Yep.
It's a tremendous loss to our community, and he served us extremely well, even though it was for a short period of time. Boy, I'll tell you, she stepped up to the plate and got our house in order and did a fabulous job, and it was, her untimely passing is a great loss to the town. Well, nothing else, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Yule.
Yes, I need to echo what Steve just said. I'm gonna miss her smile every time I walked in. Not that I walked in that office a lot, but when I did it, she was so welcoming in the way that she handled everything that, we're going to miss her, I think.
Mr. Vino?
Yes, I also echo Mr. O'Leary and Mr. Yule. I was very fortunate. I did know Fay for many, many more years than the rest of my board when she worked down in Reading in the assessor's office. And I was working in Reading at the same time. An outstanding lady. I have never heard anyone say a bad word about Fay. She's going to be sorely missed, and I know we all send our condolences out to the family. Second thing, Mr. Chair, I want to compliment and commend and thank all our town employees for what they've been going through in these last 2 weeks. Police, fire, DPW, town hall. I'm sure the phones have been ringing off the hook up here. And I've heard from a lot of people that they're just doing an outstanding job. We saw the rescue in the river, And, you know, I'm sure the police department has been just as busy, and certainly DPW has been. And the ladies and gentlemen of this town, the employees, town hall included, have really stepped up to the plate, and I want to thank them.
Mr. Chair, I too want to echo the comments that all members have made regarding Fay. She's a dedicated employee of the town, and as Mr. Yule said, that what will always stick with me is Fay's smile. No matter what she was going through in the battle that she fought, there was always a smile on her face. And so my condolences go out to her and her family. In addition, just this evening before I came to this meeting, I was at the Secondary School Building Committee, and I was informed that our interim superintendent, Keith Manville, lost not only his mother, but his mother-in-law yesterday. So my condolences go out to him and his family for the loss of two very important people in his family. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news on that issue. In addition, I want to commend the Park and Recreation Commission on another successful food and wine event that we saw about 300 of our townspeople attend Friday evening. It was a terrific event, and I haven't heard how much money they raised, but it looked like they raised a substantial amount of funds that evening. It was a well-attended and a fun event, as it always is. Other than that, I encourage everyone to come out next Monday evening for town meeting. Although we're not doing the operating budget, there are a number of important issues. I think one of the most important, as a result of the weather conditions over the last month, is the Route 62 culvert. So I ask everyone to come out and support our neighbors and friends in the Martins Pond area who have gone through a very difficult time over the last few weeks. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you. I think we should take a moment of silence for Faye Ingram. We'll do it right now. Okay, there is a funeral service for Faye on this Saturday. And the visiting hours, they're at the Joseph Doherty Funeral Home in Reading on 11 Linden Street. And the visiting hours are from 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And then there's going to be a service at the funeral parlor, I guess, right after the closing of the visiting hours at 3:30. For those that would like to attend. Faye, I guess she wasn't here very long, but she really left an impact, and we have to give her credit for helping us through this economic downturn. North Reading is in better shape than a lot of our surrounding communities, and she certainly was a contributor to helping us get into that kind of a position, the position that we're in. Sean's already mentioned town meeting is this Monday night coming, and we encourage everybody to attend, and we will be adjourning after we cover through Article 18 to June 7th, where we will deal with the financial portions of the budget. And we're doing this again, as we did last year, because of the uncertainties in terms of what will really be our state aid. Although we have some numbers, they're apt to change before, I guess we have numbers from the Senate, proposed from the Senate, but not from the House this time.
But there were, my understanding was a joint statement released by the chair of both the House Ways and Means and the Senate Ways and Means.
So, again, I think we owe a debt of gratitude to our police and fire, public works, and other town employees who worked through this torrent of rain. I guess we've broken all records for this month.
Yeah, we have.
Officially this evening, having experienced wet basements now for 2 of the 3 rainstorms, which is very unusual. I can reflect on what other people are having in much more severe situation, so. Again, information regarding